Volkanovski's motivation and the vacant featherweight title. Alexander Volkanovski has always been known for his iron will and relentless approach to training, but this time around, he's gone a step further. After the gut-wrenching knockout that cost him his championship, he refuses to accept any more delays or distractions. Ilia Topuria's sudden decision to vacate the featherweight division left a surprise opening that Volkanovski seized without hesitation. Now set to face Diego Lopes for the vacant belt, he views this fight not just as a chance to wear UFC gold again, but as a personal vindication. What's piqued the curiosity of fans and analysts alike is Volkanovski's strict new diet. He's famous for enjoying a cheat meal now and then, sometimes more frequently than he admits. But those days, at least for this camp, are over. In every interview, he emphasizes how crucial it is to feel fast, sharp, and light for all 14 weeks of preparation. The search for redemption. Though Volkanovski is fully locked in on Lopes, the shadow of Ilia Topuria lingers. Fans haven't forgotten Topuria's stunning victory that left Volkanovski reeling, and the abrupt weight class switch only added more intrigue. Was it purely strategic, chasing bigger paydays at lightweight? Or did something behind the scenes encourage him to move before a rematch could materialize? Volkanovski remains guarded when discussing these rumors, but he's been candid about wanting another shot at Topuria. He admits he isn't dwelling on that loss. He'd rather use it as motivation. If and when they cross paths again, it might be at a different weight, adding yet another layer to their unfinished rivalry. Some insiders speculate the UFC itself sees more marketing potential in having both men reign over separate divisions before they inevitably meet in a champion versus champion scenario. For Volkanovski, it's simple. Beat Lopes, reclaim the belt, and keep the door wide open for any challenge that might come his way, especially one that could settle a score. Rising tension across divisions. The UFC rarely pauses to catch its breath. After an electrifying showing at UFC 313, where Justin Gaethje took out Rafael Fiziev, a backstage moment between Gaethje and Kamaru Usman made waves. Usman, himself a former pound-for-pound king, offered a heartfelt congratulations to Gaethje, capturing the essence of mutual respect often overshadowed by trash talk. But underlying the friendly exchange is a question. Does Gaethje leap straight into title contention? Or will he find himself in another high-stakes eliminator? Usman's situation adds another dimension. Having lost his welterweight belt, he's openly hinted at exploring new territory, possibly a different division. Observers can't resist imagining a scenario where both Gaethje and Usman, good friends now, might become future adversaries if circumstances force them into the same weight class. It's a dynamic that underscores how easily alliances can shift in the UFC's unpredictable landscape. One moment you're backstage allies, the next you're staring each other down under bright lights. Middleweight shakeups: Adesanya, MVP, Vettori versus Dolidze. In the middleweight division, Israel Adesanya stole the headlines when training footage emerged of him sparring with Michael "Venom" Page. Adesanya's slick striking style has captivated fans for years, while MVP's striking prowess is a staple of highlight reels outside the UFC. Seeing them grapple side by side led to immediate speculation. Is MVP quietly testing the waters for a transfer? Or was this purely a friendly collaboration between two flashy stand-up specialists? Meanwhile, Marvin Vettori readies himself for a rematch against Roman Dolidze after a prolonged injury layoff. Vettori's never lacked toughness. His willingness to walk forward and trade shots is practically legendary, but a torn rotator cuff forced him to rethink his approach. He's spoken about adopting a more calculated game plan, possibly signifying a shift away from relying on brute force alone. For his part, Dolidze claims he deserved the decision in their first meeting and believes that mental clarity, not anger, will give him the edge this time. The boxing controversy. Dana White's new promotion and fighter pay. Outside the octagon, Dana White has stirred a fresh debate by announcing his move into the boxing world. Critics immediately pounced, accusing him of bringing the UFC's controversial pay structure to a sport that traditionally offers massive payouts for the biggest stars, but leaves countless undercard fighters scrounging for scraps. Former champion Michael Bisping offered a personal anecdote. recalling how Dana rejected his demand for a boxing scale payday, reminding him of how much he'd already earned in the UFC, despite never holding a belt until later in his career. Defenders of White's approach argue that UFC fighters typically earn more consistent pay over multiple fights, while the boxing model can be brutal. 1 or 2 losses and you're relegated to smaller venues. Still, the news raises questions. If Dana White sets up a robust boxing promotion, will it siphon talent from the UFC or give fighters new opportunities for cross-sport matchups? And how will big-name boxers react to a new promoter known for strict contractual control? The lightweight phenom and Aljamain Sterling's take. In a division stacked with elite names, Mauricio Ruffy has managed to steal attention after landing a spectacular spinning wheel kick knockout that's been replayed endlessly on social media. It wasn't just the finish that impressed fans. Ruffy's calm, measured stance leading up to it hinted at a fighter who's equally cerebral and explosive. Aljamain Sterling likened him to an early Conor McGregor, someone who blends fluid movement with pinpoint accuracy to create highlight reel moments. Despite the buzz, not everyone is convinced. Critics point out that the lightweight roster is notoriously unforgiving, and stepping up to face wrestlers like Islam Makhachev or well-rounded strikers like Charles Oliveira is a far cry from pulling off a flashy KO against unranked opposition. Yet each new victory for Ruffy seems to ramp up the hype. If he continues to showcase diverse skills like takedown defense and grappling transitions, he may soon cement himself as more than just the flavor of the month. Sterling's endorsement adds weight to that promise, raising the stakes for his next appearance. Magomed Ankalaev's war of words with Jon Jones. Magomed Ankalaev doesn't hold back when addressing Jon Jones, openly accusing the MMA legend of picking safe fights and neglecting serious threats in the light heavyweight picture. The spark flew after a rumored social media post showed Jones lamenting a missed opportunity to face Alex Pereira, only for that post to vanish later. Whether it was real or not, Ankalaev capitalized on the drama, calling Jones a steroid machine and daring him to fight Tom Aspinall. Aspinall answered with a cryptic handshake emoji, stoking talk of a possible collision. Some pundits argue that Jones, having defeated a who's who of ex-champions, has little left to prove. Others insist the new breed of contenders poses a risk he hasn't faced in years. Ankalaev's striking and grappling pedigree make him a daunting matchup for anyone, and his repeated challenges aim to prove Jones is hesitant to test himself. True or not, the storyline is fueling countless debates as fans wait to see if Jones responds, or simply continues down his own path, choosing high-profile fights that maximize pay-per-view appeal.